Hi, welcome back to CLAT online tutorials by Job Secura Law Center. I am Advocate Dinesh, a postgraduate in law. So, in the previous video, we shared with you what are the basic things you should be careful about while attending the area called legal reasoning. So, this video, we will try to learn the basics of the term called tort, three basic legal maxims where maximum number of questions had come in the previous years. So if you want to be quick in answering legal reasons questions, there are certain fundamental case laws. I repeat, you are not expected to master those case laws, but generally the questions are generated based on the principles of such fundamental case laws. So when I explain two legal maxims today, I will be quoting the relevant case laws also. So let us try to understand the meaning of the term tort. Tort simply means twisted or crooked or doing something in a wrongful way. So there is an obligation on your part to perform certain things in a particular way. And if you are violating those obligations or you are disregarding it, for example, you are trespassing into the property of another person. You are trespassing simply means he is having the privilege to enjoy the peaceful enjoyment of his personal property. So if I step into his property, though no damage is suffered to him, I am violating his legal right. So in such context, the principle of tort comes to play. So tort is based on three basic things. Negligence or a failure to perform a duty as per the legal obligation or an omission to do a legal obligation. Because of this negligence, somebody has suffered a damage. Somebody is suffering a damage. So he has to be compensated. So negligence, corresponding damage, the damage being compensated. These are the basic principles based on which the law of tort is evolving. So we will try to learn two principles. Usually many questions had come in previous years based on these two principles. And even if you look at it so many times, sometimes it may get confused. You may get confused. So the first principle is Injuria Sine Damno. So these are all Latin terms. So no, don't worry. You are not expected to master these terms. But Injuria Sine Damno simply means you can figure it out. From injuria, injury, damnum is damage. So such words you should be able to figure out. In the due course you will be able to do that. So in this principle, what is happening is a legal injury is happening. Keep in mind, legal injury is happening, but there is no corresponding damage. There is no monetary loss happening, but there is a legal injury. Will the plaintiff be compensated? Plaintiff means the person whose right is being violated or who underwent a legal injury. So legal injury is there, but there is no monetary loss. Will he be compensated? The answer is yes. Because the law of tort revolves on the concept legal injury has to be compensated. Of course, whether there was a monetary loss, that comes secondary. So a famous case law in this context is the case law of Ashby versus White. Forget the name part. The crux of the case was there was an eligible voter. He was eligible to vote in a particular election, say for a parliamentary election, and he intended to vote for X. And he went to the polling booth. Though he was eligible, the electoral officer denied permission to him to cast the vote. So he was sent back. He couldn't cast the vote. But when the results were announced, he intended to vote for X, as I said earlier. When the results were announced, X succeeded in that election with a huge margin. Thousands of votes he had succeeded. But the person who was denied the right to vote filed a case stating that his legal right to cast the vote was denied. Whereas the defense taken was, though you didn't vote, X, the candidate X do succeed with the margin of thousands of votes. So what is the damage happened because of you not being voting there? So that was the logic raised, but the court held that whether damage is there or not is secondary. He was carrying a legal right to cast the vote, which was being denied. So he has suffered a legal injury, so he has to be compensated. So to make it very simple, Injuria Sine Damno, a legal injury is happening, no damage is there. The answer is very simple. In such a situation, even if there is no monetary damage, no monetary loss, compensation will be granted. So this is the first principle. We will follow in the next video the reverse of this principle, Injuria Sine Damno. Keep in mind, compensation will be provided. Watch out for the next video where we will be explaining further principles in law of tort. Thank you.